Deep beneath our feet, there are rivers of molten rock waiting for the right moment to escape. Volcanoes are more than mountains. They are Earth's pressure valves, and when they erupt, they change everything. Some eruptions have been so massive that they erased entire civilizations, reshaped coastlines, and even cooled the planet for years. Today, we'll explore the 10 most devastating volcanic eruptions in human history, their unbelievable power, their impact on humanity, and the lessons they left behind. 10. Mount Pinatubo, Philippines. Mount Pinatubo had been silent for centuries. In early 1991, strange earthquakes began to shake the region. Scientists rushed to the site, setting up monitoring stations. Their work saved thousands of lives, as they were able to predict the eruption just days before it happened. On June 15th, Pinatubo exploded, sending a column of ash nearly 35 kilometers into the atmosphere. The eruption released so much sulfur dioxide that it reflected sunlight away from Earth, lowering global temperatures by nearly half a degree for 2 years. Over 800 lives were lost, 200,000 people displaced, and entire towns were buried under ash. But without the warnings, the death toll could have been 10 times higher. 9. Mount Pelée, Martinique, 1902. May 8, 1902, began like any other morning in Saint-Pierre, a bustling port city known as the Paris of the Caribbean. Within minutes, everything changed. A pyroclastic flow, a scorching cloud of gas and ash, thundered down the mountain at 100 miles per hour. The temperature inside the cloud reached nearly 1,000 degrees. Wood instantly caught fire. People died where they stood, and within minutes, 30,000 lives were gone. Remarkably, a prisoner in a tiny stone cell survived, thanks to the thick walls that shielded him from the heat. He became a symbol of hope, touring the world to tell his story. 8. Loki Fissure, Iceland, 1783. This was not a single explosion. It was 8 months of hell. The Loki eruption produced fountains of lava that stretched for miles and a toxic haze of sulfur dioxide that spread across Iceland and Europe. Animals died first. Their food was poisoned by fluoride. Then came famine. 1 in 5 Icelanders perished, and the disaster's effects were felt worldwide. Europe experienced crop failures and unusually cold summers. In France, food shortages and unrest followed. Some historians believe this suffering helped spark the French Revolution a few years later. 7. Nova Rupta, Alaska, 1912. Few people lived near Nova Rupta, but its eruption was one of the most powerful of the 20th century. For 3 days, explosions shook the ground. Ash covered an area of over 7,000 square miles, and the sky turned black. The eruption left behind a vast barren land known today as the Valley of 10,000 Smokes, filled with steaming vents that remained active for years. The event is a reminder that even remote volcanoes can leave a permanent mark on the Earth. 6. Mount Unzen, Japan, 1792. Mount Unzen erupted with such force that it triggered a massive landslide, the largest in Japanese history. The debris plunged into the sea, generating a tsunami more than 100 meters high in some areas. Entire villages were swept away. In total, over 15,000 people died. Unzen remains one of the most closely monitored volcanoes in Japan today, and scientists continue to study it to prevent another disaster. 5. Krakatoa, Indonesia, 1883. The eruption of Krakatoa is one of the loudest sounds ever recorded in human history. It was heard in Australia, over 3,000 miles away. The explosion was so powerful that 2/3 of the island literally disappeared. Tsunamis generated by the eruption reached 40 meters high, destroying coastal towns and killing more than 36,000 people. Ash darkened the skies around the world, creating spectacular red sunsets for months. Artists and poets of the time captured the eerie beauty, but for those who lived through it, the memory was one of terror. 4. Mount Tambora, Indonesia, 1815. Mount Tambora's eruption dwarfed even Krakatoa. The explosion was so powerful that it blasted away the top of the mountain, reducing its height by 1,300 meters. More than 70,000 people died directly from the eruption and its aftermath. But the disaster had a global impact. 1816 became known as the year without a summer. Crops failed across Europe, famine spread in Asia, and snow fell in New England during June. Historians believe this global chill influenced art and literature. Mary Shelley, trapped indoors by the strange weather, wrote Frankenstein during this dark summer. 3. Santorini, Thera, Greece, around 1600 BCE. The eruption of Thera was so massive that it tore the island apart, leaving behind the caldera we see today. The blast triggered massive tsunamis that devastated coastal communities across the Aegean Sea. The once flourishing Minoan civilization was crippled, leading to its eventual decline. Archaeologists have found entire towns buried under volcanic ash, eerily similar to Pompeii, but more than 1,000 years older. Many scholars think this cataclysm became the source of the legend of Atlantis. 2. Mount Vesuvius, Italy, 79 CE. The eruption of Vesuvius is one of the most famous volcanic disasters in history. Pliny the Younger, a Roman writer, witnessed the event and described a towering column of ash shaped like a pine tree. The cities of Pompeii and Herculaneum were buried in meters of ash and pumice, preserving streets, buildings, and even food exactly as they were. For nearly 2,000 years, the cities lay hidden, until archaeologists uncovered them in the 18th century. Today, millions of visitors walk the same streets where time stopped on that tragic day. End. 1. Yellowstone supervolcano, USA, approximately 640,000 years ago. Yellowstone is not just a volcano. Its last major eruption was so colossal that it left a crater nearly 30 miles wide. Scientists believe that if it erupted today, the consequences would be global. Ash clouds would blanket much of North America. Agriculture would collapse, and Earth could be plunged into a volcanic winter lasting years. While experts say such an event is unlikely in our lifetime, Yellowstone remains one of the most closely watched volcanoes in the world. From the jungles of Indonesia to the frozen plains of Alaska. These eruptions remind us that our planet is alive and unpredictable. Volcanoes are both creators and destroyers, building new land while sometimes erasing entire civilizations. Studying these events helps us prepare for the future, because one day another great eruption will come. When it does, will we be ready? Share your thoughts in the comments and subscribe for more fascinating stories from the forces that shape our world.